Alright, I'm back, and we just did the Paladin figure. So we're going to set him over here. And we're going to be taking a look at the Chaos armor. So there it is in its all-terrain death trap mode. Again, it suffers from the same problems that his alt mode suffers from, and the fact that it's a brick. It doesn't, there's no wheels, it doesn't roll. The turret at least can go up and down on this thing. There is no side to side, but keeping this together is really challenging. This whole figure design is based on the power core combiners, which, you know, that's not a very good thing to start off with. I mean, I understand that they're trying to continue with that, but yeah, it's not very, it's not good. That's really all I can say. So we'll start and take some sections off here. Split these apart. These all just plug in very loosely via the power core combiner ports, and you can slap that over here, and you can grab him, and now he can take this whole assembly and plug it into his hand. It's not going to plug into his hand, is it? It'll plug sideways. Oh, you can do this. It is a big gun. Or maybe it's supposed to be underslung. Let's try that. Oh, that doesn't work at all. Okay, so yeah, he can hold this, but at a sideways stance, which isn't too bad. But it basically just turns into a giant minigun, which is pretty cool. I actually dig that. These pieces here can open up, and you can actually store the miniguns in there. In vehicle mode, I prefer to open this up and put it right there. And they've got a bunch of the 3mm clip systems here and there, so he's got that as well. I guess that's really all there is to do with these parts here. I don't see any ports that he can hold them with other than his hands, so we'll just set these things off to the side, and we'll grab the next piece. Let's take the these feet plate off, and down here there's a little handle. You can see. I'm going to try and pull that out. Just rotate it around. And then we can take the same minigun port here and plug that into his hand. And that's much more of like a pistol. Again, that's actually pretty cool. I really, really dig that. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I won't lie. And then, you know, just to flip it back, you just take this and you rotate it in. And, you know, both the feet have that same thing, so both of them can be used that way. We'll take the turret themselves off. Split these apart, and they do have big ports here, so maybe he can hold on to those, and he can. So now he can have like just a rocket launcher type weapon. Guess that's really all he can do with them. And this one, you know, he can't even hold it properly because of his forearms, so you'd have to go this way, and it's got whatever's going to be coming out from there, but it doesn't open or anything, so So there's those. By far, so far, the weakest option of these things. Now these ones, you can see the hands attached to these. You can take those off. Collapse that down. If you open this up here, it's got its own little minigun already installed, and it just rotates around on a ball joint. You can close that up, and I don't see anywhere for him to hold on to this, though. I guess he can't hold this. There's no handle, there's no clips. Okay, now this definitely tops weakest portion, because there's no way for him to use it, as far as I can see. Of course, you know, as always, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see any place for him to use it. So, and then I mean, it's a big parts former, so you know, if you want to turn it back into the way it was, you just put it back together. I'm not going to, because there's more to this. So what we want to do here is we want to rotate these out, flip the hands in, because now we're going to combine them with his armor. This will come up. Again, slots into place just like before. Slot that in. This comes up. Slot the hand, rotate the hand down. This will slot in. Alright. Now we got that done. You want to remove the turret entirely. We'll actually split this down the middle. There's just a little tab up here and two little mushroom pegs that just kind of slot together. Makes it a little difficult because of the top tab as well as the bottom tabs, but I mean, you'll figure it out. It's not that hard. Alright, and then we want to, this is going to be his front now, so we want to push his head back like so, and then you can rotate the other head around. This is actually the Fallen's head. You kind of want to pull these out so you can do it, but you want to do it before you get everything locked into place, because once you have everything locked into place, it's going to be hard to do anything with it. So rotate these things back all the way like so, and they're just on these double hinges, and they just come all the way back like that. And then rotate these side pieces out like so, and you can move the chest piece up. Now he does suffer from a hollow chest, but these two little tabs right here and here will plug in with these tabs here and here, and once you plug it in, as you can see, you know, he's just got this big hollow chest, which is really, really ugly, I think. I do not like that at all. I mean, they could have gotten this a little bit closer. I mean, really, that much of a gap in the chest. Once you get everything together, it hides it a little bit, but still, I mean, it's disappointing. You want to flip out these little orange connector pieces, rotate the leg like so, and then slide it up. Do the same thing over here. Just like so. And there we have the body of the Fallen completed. So now we've got all these parts here. Let's see, we'll start with this one. You want to take the minigun out and set that off to the side. You want to take the foot plate and see how it's got the minigun there, because we're using it for that one little gun mode. That's actually how I like to keep it, because it gives them a little bit of an extra heel spur. You don't have to. You can store these things in the back of the calves like I showed. But this is just the way I prefer to do it. And that way it's also not going to rattle around. So again, take this piece, take the foot piece, plug that in, and you plug that in like so. Just like so. And you want to take this, open up the knee here, and just slot it in. And there you have his legs done. You want to take the shoulders here. I like to get the missile pods so they're facing forward. But you can do it this way too if you want. But, I mean, why not? If you have the option of having missile pods on your arms, why would you say not to? Clip the arm in. That plugs in right there. Do the same thing over here. Just clip it in and plug it in. And there you have the Fallen in robot mode. Excuse me. And he looks impressive. There is no doubt in my mind that this guy looks intimidating. These will go up here as well, but I want to show off posability before we start adding things onto him, and then we'll go into the size comparison file thoughts. But he does look really intimidating, and he does look very streamlined. I do like how he finally comes out. I'm not a fan of parts forming. You know, I mean, Seekers have the missiles that have to come out and be moved. You know, everybody's got something, pretty much, that something parts form somewhere, but the entire figure comes apart and reconfigures into two different vehicles and then reconfigures back into this. This is like Bay former, you know, Age of Extinction Decepticon type look. I mean, it's... I'm not a huge fan of that at all. I'm not a fan of the chest either. I said that. It's just... I really wish there was a way to fill in this gap right here. But I don't see anything. I'm trying to see if maybe I missed something. Maybe something flips out, or... But it doesn't look that way. Anyway. So, posability. Arms can hinge up and down. They get hindered because the shoulders are huge and these back pieces are back here. Let's see. Can't get them any further back, so that's unfortunate. Shoulders do rotate up and down. There's a swivel at the bicep. Elbows ratchet back, forward. If you bend the elbow too far forward, the arm comes off. Because the joints just aren't designed for it. So, and that's really, really irritating. I mean, like, beyond comprehensional irritation is having a $80 figure fall apart. And I showed this off in the first time I reviewed it, but it's still an irritation. Hands do swivel. We put this piece up to lock the back into place, but you don't have to. Because if you don't, he does have a waist swivel. If you do, he loses the waist swivel. Legs ratchet up, down. The skirting here does have a little mobility in there so that it doesn't stay in the way. In and out, swivels at the thigh, bends at the knee, and guess what? Same problem. Not as prominent because you don't usually bend the knee that far back. But I do use the elbows a lot. So, you know, if you don't go to, you know, you can go like that far, but any further and it just comes right off. So, I guess, you know, that, like I said, that's not as bad as the elbows because, you know, I actually use my elbows for posing sometimes, and that's just, I shouldn't be able to do this with one finger. I shouldn't. That's, anyway. Feet are on swivels, and then there's the ball joint hinge. Give them a little posability. So yeah. And like I said, he does become big and he does become intimidating. So let's rotate these things down. And you can really take these things and you can plug them anywhere. You can plug them on his forearms. Actually, I think that's what I'm going to do. You can plug them on his shoulders too. And they just kind of slide down his arms. You know, they're just like that. But I think this might look pretty good too. Yeah. I actually kind of like that. You could also, you know, if you really wanted to, like, stick him on his leg. Some people actually just leave the whole thing combined as one shoulder cannon. I've seen, but I you know, sometimes I kind of like having asymmetrical transformers. Actually, most of the time I do. The robots, I think it'd be more feasible for them to be asymmetrical. That's why Galvatron and Megatron look so out of place, and that's why I like them so much. It's because they're not. But there you go. Let's do some size comparisons and then final thoughts. As you see, I mean, he's a big boy. He's definitely a big boy now. He's all grown up. Here he's next to the Seeker mold, who, you know, as you remember, he was just slightly bigger than the Corebot, and now he comes up to the waist. So yeah, he's definitely a lot bigger. Here he is next to the iGear Seeker. And he's just about half a head taller. Just about. No, not even that. Maybe just like this much taller. But he has also got more bulk to him. I mean, yeah, he looks bigger because he's got the wings, but he just has that bulk to him. And of course, a masterpiece car. So, about a head shorter. A little more than a head shorter. So yeah, I mean, he looks big. He looks intimidating. My problems are the knees and the elbows. I'm actually thinking what I'm going to do is I might just glue the elbows into place. That hinge. Like I said, the knees are an issue too, but they're not that bad. That way I can still have the core robot detach and become, you know, still transform and stuff like that. But I mean, if you have him sitting there doing nothing, absolutely nothing, he's fine. But once you start trying to pose him, that's when problems happen. He does have a really incredible head sculpt too, though. Zoom in there. I really like the black, the onyx gray, the orange, and the highlights in purple. It really makes him look intimidating, just pure evil. I really dig that. The camera's making this look more gray than it is. It's actually definitely a black, but there are bits on him, like this part on the crest is more of a charcoal gray. Maybe like a steel, like a brush steel look, something like that. But yeah, this is black on the figure. It's black. It's just it's got this like grooveness to it that makes it like reflect off of it. It's really cool. I actually really dig this look. So it's like, now that I've gone over the past of the delays on the figure. Yes, the arms and the legs still have the same problem of falling apart. The sword still sucks. That's just a pussy-looking sword. I do have other swords laying around, but I can't seem to find them at the moment while looking over my shoulder. So, we're not going to go into that right now. But yeah, I would have to say, I hate to do this too, because I hate contradicting myself. But I'd actually have to say I do recommend this figure. I think it's a pretty good figure. He's a fun toy. The parts forming is annoying, but at the same time, it's kind of fun. I actually do enjoy the little guy being able to hold all the different weapons. I think that's fun little gimmick. And ultimately, the figure does look pretty good and menacing. I still have the issues with the elbows and the knees. But yeah, I would recommend it. I am going to be... I will definitely say, only if you can stand parts forming. I know some people absolutely cannot. But yeah, if you can stand that, and and you're into the big black, if you want a Fallen figure, this is probably the only option we're gonna have for a while, aside from like the Revenge of the Fallen, which he transforms into the laying down jet, which you could potentially say, oh, that's a jet. In Bay's world of jets, a jet is just a transformer laying on its side. Anyway, we're not talking about Bay here. We're talking about the Fallen. I do recommend it. I think it's a fun figure. Now that I've gotten over all of that, and I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I know that's not a really good score in comparison, but he is nowhere in the same category of design and quality as like the iGear Seeker or the Masterpiece cars. Nobody's in comparison with them. But engineering wise, the Starscream doesn't completely fall apart and get redesigned. So, he's a better engineered figure. There's a lot of other figures that are better engineered than he is, and so that's one thing I'm going to have to knock against him, is he's just not as well engineered as he should have been. But he's still good. So yeah, there you go. Make Toys Fallen.